Joining us now, someone who knows something about executive leadership, running a company, running an effort. Mitt Romney, of course, former Republican presidential candidate, former governor of the great state of Massachusetts. He's with us now. Mitt, great to talk to you.
Thanks. Great to be with you, Laura.
And, of course, the author of No Apology, which is one of my favorite titles of the year as well. Governor, I want to talk to you about this question of leadership. And before we do that, though, your reaction to what the president said last night.
Well, I was clearly disappointed in what he had to say. It seemed to me to be another political speech, and American citizens are looking not for politicians and explanations and people to blame, but instead for the kind of leadership that you hope to find in the president, the commander-in-chief. And he, obviously 2 months in now, he has failed to show that kind of leadership. Hopefully he will begin to recognize that we're not looking for speeches, we're looking for results.
What do you think Janet Napolitano is qualified to do in government?
Well, she did serve as a governor, and so she had some leadership experience there. I'm not sure what she did prior to that time, and don't know about her leadership chops. I just don't know enough about her. But
she's the head of Homeland Security, Governor, and her agency, FEMA, is housed in Homeland Security, and yet you can't find this woman.
Yeah, you don't find her at least speaking out. You find the president speaking, but what you would expect from the president is taking a bit of a model from watching Rudy Giuliani in a crisis situation. Obviously, these crises are very different, and the loss of life is very different. But Rudy Giuliani went to the site, was there immediately, saw what assets he had on the ground, what people he had. He assembled experts, and then he led personally the effort to recover in New York City. In this case, the president says he's gathered experts, but he's never even talked to the people who are responsible for capping the spill. Today is the first day, apparently. He's going to finally speak with the people at BP, which after 2 months of this crisis is simply extraordinary.
20 minutes, Mitt. 20 minutes. That's how long he's spending with them.
Oh, my goodness. It's just amazing, Laura. I mean, this is a very different model. It is a model of find out who to blame, find a scapegoat, attack them, lash out, make the American people angry at whoever you're attacking. And I think the American people have seen enough of that, and they realize that what they really want in the president is for him to take the lead, to actually grab a hold of the reins and lead this effort, or lead the effort of any other crisis that might develop. And frankly, the president has not had leadership experience in the past. This is his first opportunity to learn how to lead. And frankly, learning on the job is probably not the right thing for the most important position in the world.
Yeah, you get the sense in watching him. I almost felt sorry for him last night. I almost did, because you get the sense in watching him that he is completely out of his depth.
Well, given a deep well oil spill, being out of your depth is a particular problem right now. And again, he's looking for the political solution, which has worked in the past. So, for instance, when he was dealing with health care, he decided to attack health care insurance executives. And if he made them the bad guys, then by definition he must be the good guy. And that just didn't work. The American people saw through that. They said, look, his plan is not right for America. Whether or not the insurance executives are good guys or bad guys is irrelevant. Each occasion where he faces a tough situation, he finds someone to blame. And that is simply not working when oil is gushing out to the tune of millions of gallons a day.
And now we learn that it's 60,000 barrels a day, Mitt, when before it was, 5,000? Then it went up to 10. Then it was 20. And now it's 60,000 barrels. That in and of itself is disturbing. We can hit a target thousands of miles away with a missile with pinpoint accuracy, but we can't measure what's coming out of that leak.
Well, I think the problem was that the president was anxious not to become associated with the crisis, and so he stood back from it and said, "This is BP's problem. Let them solve it." And of course, BP didn't have all the resources that the president would have at his fingertips. What he could have done would be to assemble the engineers from ExxonMobil, from Shell, from international places, from major institutions, learning institutions, and together with BP, gather the data, look at the options, select the right options, cut through the red tape. That's what he could have done. But instead, he stayed in the White House playing golf and listening to concerts. And America was saying, where's the leadership?
But come on, Matt, he did sing Hey Jude and that whole na 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 na. Come on, he did that better than any president I've ever. Hey, you got to give him credit. Paul McCartney was wowed by his singing chops. So let's focus on what's really important here. I mean, that was just that. Just the split screen of the oil gushing and the president on stage with Paul McCartney. The optics of that are just terrible. I go back to you. When you were called in to do the Olympics and to turn the whole Olympics around in Salt Lake City. You're called in. If it was a crisis point, what was the first thing that you did when you rolled up your sleeves and got into the situation?